Canvas allows you to create quizzes or basically tests within it. However, if you already have a test bank created or a test created in something like ExamView, you can export it from ExamView and import it into Canvas. So what I'm going to do first is go into my ExamView account. Okay, so here's my ExamView. This is the Mac version, so it looks a little different than you might have on your PC. But the first thing I need to do once I have a test that I've already created in ExamView is go up to the File menu. And I'm going to choose File, and I'm going to choose Export. And I want to choose Blackboard 7.1 to 9.0. It also, I believe, works with 6 to 7, but I'm going to go for the newer version, 7.1 to 9. I need to give it a title, and I'm going to save it to my desktop so I can find it easier. I'm going to say Export. Now it's going to ask for a test name. I need to make sure I include that, and also a directory name. I'm just using the same name for both, and I'm going to say OK. Now I'm going to close ExamView, and I cannot import it from the quiz section. I actually have to go to Settings in my course. Now over on the right-hand side, I'm going to choose Import Course Content. And I need to choose what type of content it is, and I'm going to choose the Blackboard 6789 export zip file. Then I need to choose the file, so I'm going to find the file on my desktop and choose it and open it. Now I need to choose which question bank I want it to go into. Now I might already have a question bank that's like Unit 1 and I'm just adding to it, or I can create a new question bank. I don't have any existing question banks yet for this class. So I'm going to give it a name, Scientific Method, and I need to decide what I want to collect, and all that I had in that file was the test bank, so I'm just going to say all content. If you were importing a course, like an entire course, and you just wanted assignments, you would choose select specific content, but all I've done is import a test bank. Now options, I can overwrite assessments or adjust event due dates. That doesn't apply in this case because we're just importing a test. So I'm going to now choose import. It takes a little while for it to import, and it actually just completed right in front of me. So now what I can do is go over to my quizzes on the left menu, and you can see that it automatically created a test. Now when I create tests, I want the questions that students answer, I want the questions to be randomized. If I choose this right here, it will allow me to randomize the answer choices but not the actual questions. So I'm going to go in and first just delete this test that it automatically created. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the gear on the right hand side, because when it imported the test, it also imported the questions and put them into a question bank that I created. So I'm going to click on Manage Question Banks. And you can see that it's right here. I can go in and I can edit the questions if I want to, or I could add questions to this. Once I have that done, I just need to be back in the quiz area, and I'm going to click plus quiz to create a new quiz. You'll give it a title. You can write any instructions. These instructions are on every single page of the quiz that students have. I like to have one question per page, so I generally just keep it to one line, like follow the academic integrity policy, good luck on your task, make sure all your other browser tabs are closed, things like that, but I keep it to one line. Now I'm going to scroll down. You can choose what type of quiz it is. You can choose which assignment category it goes in. I like to shuffle the answers. This is where you can choose whether kids need an access code to be able to access the test, when you want them to see correct answers or not. I uncheck this originally. I don't want them to see their quiz responses just yet. After I've had all my absent students make up the test, after everything's been graded, then I will come back and edit and check this. But as of right now, before they take the test, I don't want that checked. I do like to show one question at a time. I do allow students to go back and answer questions that they may have missed. They can check questions that they need to go back to and review, so I personally do not lock questions. Now, what I need to do to add the questions is up at the top, choose questions. So when I click on questions, I'm actually going to add a question group. Adding a question group will allow you to pull in the questions from the question bank, and it will randomize them. So I'm going to do new question group. I need to link it to a question bank, and I'm going to find, it will show me all my question banks that I have in all of the different courses that I teach. So I think this one was scientific method that I just did, so I'm going to select the bank, and I'm going to choose how many questions I want from it and how many points per question it is. So I had 25 questions there. I could pull 20. It's up to you how you want to do that. I'm going to make them 2 points each. And then I need to click Create Group. I can give that group a title as well. I'm going to create that group. Now, I personally like to have all my multiple choice questions together. Then when I add my short answer questions, I don't like to randomize them. And that is because of how the way the speed grader works. So I want my questions, the short answer questions, I want to go from student to student and grade everyone's question 26 together. And then grade everyone's 27 and everyone's number 28, the short answer questions. So I like to do new question and just add those questions in. And I could add in these questions from a question bank if I had another question bank as well. Now, I'm ready as is. I can save and publish this. One thing to think about is that any of your test questions that are multiple choice or fill in the blank where it's one word or a couple of words or something, those questions can potentially be auto-graded if it's just a multiple choice or true, false, or fill in the blank. If you have questions that are short answer, those are not automatically graded. You need to go in and grade them. When students finish this test, they automatically get the score from the questions that were graded automatically. So let's say that right now it was 25 questions, they were all multiple choice. If they got a 40 out of 50, that's their actual score. But if I added another question on here that was a 10-point question, and it was one that I had to go in and grade, that kid, instead of getting a 40 out of 50, it's going to say they got like a 40 out of 60. And it's going to freak kids out because depending on how many points your short answer questions are, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I totally failed because I missed all these points. You have to remind them how many points the automatic grading is out of. So if I had a 60-point test and only 50 were multiple choice, I need to tell them, okay, the score you see right now is really out of 50, not out of the 60, the overall amount, because I have to go in and grade that. So just keep that in mind and remind students because they will freak out. Parents probably will too. Might be a good idea to go up to announcements. And when you're in announcements, send out an announcement to students and parents that day and say, students took a test today, it was worth 60 points, only 50 points were automatically graded. I still have to go in and manually grade those last 10 points. So when you see the score, what you're seeing, even though it says it's out of 60, it's really out of 50 at this point. I still need to get those last 10 points done. So it'll be worth that. You will hopefully not get as many emails from worried students or parents.